All right, welcome everyone back to day 2 of INACSL 22 here in Milwaukee. My name is Lance. I'm the founder and CEO of HealthySimulation.com. We're going to be continuing our discussions as we are throughout the day during all of the days of the event here to talk with experts in the space, learn a little bit more from the INACSL leadership about all the great membership programs that are existing here and just all the goings on of the event itself. And so I'm really excited to bring back with us again is Teresa Gore, who is the endorsement program chair at INACSL and also the professor and director of teaching and learning at Nova Southeastern University. And as well, next to me, we have Tom Lemaster, who is chair of the Accreditation Council for the Society for Simulation in Healthcare, or SSH, and as well, he's the director of operations at the University of Florida. UF, is that the acronym there?
Yes.
Not the other way around. Don't get that mixed up, folks. And so I'm really excited to have you both here today to talk a little bit more about this new launch of this INACSL Endorsement Program, which I know is getting kind of officially launched tomorrow here at the event. Really excited about that. We did have a previous session specifically kind of covering what is the program and how does it all work. But basically, essentially, what we're going to be doing is taking the standards that INACSL has created over the past 10 years, decade or so, and using those as a base to then enable people to use that to give themselves kind of an opportunity for feedback and review from the professional community as members of INACSL for things that take place during the specific simulation experience. So that's the pre-briefing, the facilitation, the debriefing, and the integrity throughout in order to make sure that we, do no harm and we provide for a safe learning space. And so, there could be some confusion out there about how does this relate in terms of the certification process at SSH and also more specifically the accreditation process for the program, because the endorsement program is program wide. It's not specific to an individual like certification. It's more like accreditation. However, we're going to be focusing on just the aspects of simulation. So we brought Tom out to kind of explain a little bit more from his perspective of what the accreditation is, and Teresa as well as explain a little bit more about what the endorsement program is. So this will be really great for helping to clarify what this new program is and how they complement each other, which I really think that they do. So with that, Teresa, would you just tell us kind of I've done a quick summary here, but what is your view of how this is unique or special or different in terms of the other opportunities that exist out there and unique here today?
So in a lot of programs, you have people who've gone through the certification and
sorry, could we just bring that one a little closer to
and
there you go.
That's one of the things we're looking for is that we really do want to look at the people being certified because that shows that they have that knowledge.
Sure.
Okay. So that's that knowledge. Now we're looking at them applying it. Okay.
Sure.
And that is where that endorsement program comes in. And it's more than one person.
Sure.
Because you can't have endorse a program if there's only one person doing it.
Well, no,
so
let me ask
it
you
does
a little,
look,
a little bit about that because, a program, some institutions, only have one individual who represents the sim tech and the sim coordinator
right.
and the business operations manager for the whole program. So you don't mean that those people will be necessarily excluded. It's just that we're looking at the entire program,
right.
whatever that might entail, right?
Because they would still have to have content experts to help them write the simulation. Right. They would still, we've proven your cognitive load is you can't be the facilitator, run the mannequin, do all parts of that,
right?
To the best. And so Wes, one of the things we're looking for is that sometimes the sim lab only has one person in it or two people,
right?
A nurse and, the ops person,
sure,
and whatever profession they are in the healthcare. And then they look at those educators coming in. Well, what we're trying to do is show that those educators that are coming in actually have been trained in simulation too, because that's part of the facilitator.
Right.
The facilitation standard is that they've been trained in simulation.
Right. So it really does take a program. And so no matter what the size of number of staff that you have dedicated, anyone who's kind of a touch point can help to represent the program as a part of this endorsement program. Right. Okay. And so, for you, it sounds like the endorsement program is kind of not a before then, it's a while doing. And so in a sense, it comes a little bit after maybe some of the development of the program. And this
right.
is a great way for us to kind of do a self-assessment of a program in a sense and be recognized for kind of our our work and our leadership to kind of grow and evolve that program to a degree that shows outcomes for the actual simulation experiences. Right. And so, Tom, that's different than the accreditation process, which I think is more about the entire program. That's talking operations and more. So tell us a little bit more about accreditation.
Yes, the accreditation program does look at that. They look at the overall operations of the entire program itself, wherever it is, no matter what it looks like. And those standards are from endorsement are woven in there, of course. But when you're looking at a accreditation, it really looks a lot at outcomes. What happens, what are your outcomes of your overall program? In the core standards, when there's core standards mentioned, the core standards of accreditation are more encompassing, where they're looking at your mission, your vision, your leadership, your financial back, your SOPs. A deep dive is taken into all of those
And
things.
it could take years to do this process, right? Start to finish.
If you're building a program today, you should get those standards and build it on that.
Yeah. Start with the documentation in front of you. It will make your lives a lot easier.
Life is a lot
great
easier.
way to demonstrate, hey, this is what the expectation is, so that you and your clinical faculty, whether you're at a student or educational portal or a professional training site, having this guide, right? And none of us had this 15 years ago. Just did not exist. So we're standing on the shoulders of giants who have helped, and the many members of the volunteers from both committees, from both organizations, to develop these, so that those coming after will have a roadmap to be successful. And so there are so many opportunities to leverage these tools to help in both an individual's development and professional development and the program as a whole. And so are these programs kind of now going to be further connected? Just like, the accreditation does lean on the standards, will the endorsement become more kind of ongoing part of accreditation review or perspective? Will that be another kind of feather in the cap of programs that are going for accreditation?
Quite possibly. We're rolling it
new.
out.
To be determined, right?
It's to be determined. That's it. This is brand new.
Right. So we just had the pilot program.
Right. We just did. And so now that we know, then we can start our collaboration.
Right.
And, we work together on regional workshops, and we work together on so many other things.
Right.
Is that this is our great opportunity.
Yeah.
Is that we can show that there's room for all of us. And there's room for everybody in simulation.
Yeah,
and that's
I totally
the
agree.
great news.
Yeah, and here's the thing. We're probably at 5%, 3% market penetration with regards to the space really kind of fully utilizing simulation to the degree that potentially is going to be coming down the pipeline, right? So, it's interesting to me because on the healthysimulation.com Learn platform, where we host webinars and courses and those kind of CE content, a lot of individuals, when I say, hey, would you like to do a webinar? I say, well, I've only been doing this for a few years. And I say, well, stop. There is someone today who is starting with simulation, right? Today is their first day where they're considering anything for clinical simulation. So the more that we're able to support one another as nonprofit organizations or, us as media partners or others out there, to create a holistic environment so that people can start today and be much more successful. This sounds like a continuation of that goal and a way to work together in a really exciting way that promotes everybody and these resources.
And the accreditation goes a lot further than just the education and the SIM.
Right.
They have their core plus. And so it's when you get into all of those pluses.
Right. Tell us a little bit about the core plus.
So the core plus, every program is evaluated on core in the accreditation process, and that's your foundation.
Okay.
That's all. That's it lists your educators and your staff, and talks about professional development and those kind of things, as well as your SOPs, your financial background. All that it's your base.
Okay.
From that point on, any program applying for accreditation that cores it, and you can apply for any of 4 or 5 now additional program or accreditation areas. It's assessment. So if you're doing a lot of assessment program parts, then it would take a deep dive into your assessment process.
I see.
Validity, reliability, all that kind of stuff. Teaching education, that's what we all do. So that's pretty much automatic with everyone.
Right.
Then there's a research component.
Okay.
Then there's a system integration component, which is focused on patient safety.
I see. Okay.
And then now, most recently, there's a fellowship component.
Fellowship.
So, so if you have a
So these are
fellowship
the
program,
plus.
these are the pluses.
Right. Yeah.
Where
So
you
this
do
is where
core plus one
depending
of
on
those
the
others.
specifics of your program, that's where we can go further. But still, it's just as you mentioned, this is a great segmentation of focus specifically on the simulation learning portion.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the endorsement is really fantastic for. And so, it sounds to me like these things complement each other in a unique way, and they are doing different parts of kind of the of a review. And so, again, I think it's just great for folks watching this to really take away that there is yet now another opportunity, right, to be able to expand the support that you have from your international professional community, again, that has gone through this and kind of taken the hard steps to bonk into some walls and figure that out and record how the way through the dark cave so that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
We used to struggle. Am I doing this right? We'd talk to each other.
Yeah.
Is there some way that how do I know if I'm doing this right? Because
Right.
it was just what we had to do.
Right.
Now we have all these standards, we have these programs, we have certifications, we have all of this ability, and then you submit and then you get feedback and
Right.
it's validation. It is growing, you know,
Right.
when you're looking at that self-efficacy and your confidence and things
Right.
like that. And then, you know, it gives you something to go to leadership and say, hey, we've done this.
Right.
Now we'd like to even get better. We want to be more known.
Right.
We'd like to do all of our presentations and
Right.
do this and keep growing and keep going up the ladder.
Right.
you
And
know,
also,
so-
I think to help for administrators who have anxiety about starting a simulation program, this is just another great tool to slide across the desk and be like, look, there's a roadmap out there. We don't have to be the ones to reinvent the wheel here. And I think that that's where, in the past 15 years, that's been a lot of what it's been. Each sim center is kind of self-created, a lot of ways of working. And so now we've got yet another way to demonstrate the opportunity to move forward in a successful way from INACSL and the endorsement program. And, as a part of our considerations of things like accreditation through SSH or from some of the other nonprofit organizations out there globally that are doing that kind of work. So thank you, Tom, and thank you, Teresa, for taking some time here
Yes.
today to share a little bit more about the compliments here and how they work. So I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
And
Good seeing
all
you.
we can tell people, get certified, get endorsed, get accredited.
That's
That's
right.
what we do.
That's what we do. Right. Good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.